13. The Council of Kings. The hall had been emptied. Call escorted Leora to the doors of the King's Council.
"Please, step inside, Madam Envoy. The kings are expecting you,"
he said. All eyes in the chamber turned toward her at once. With graceful steps, Leora walked to the center of the hall, where the thrones of the kings stood in a solemn row. Bowing respectfully, she began to speak.
"I am Leora Valenoria, envoy appointed by the Grand People's Senate of the Yundar Republic. With your esteemed permission, I wish to present the purpose of my visit and my request for an audience."
A man in his 50s, his beard and hair whitened, charismatic, answered in a deep voice.
"I am Kashian Justikar, High Regent of the Aeon Empire and President of the King's Council. Because His Imperial Majesty is too ill to stand, we have received you here on behalf of the United Kingdoms and the Empire. As the chief authority, I am listening to you."
Kashian Justikar sat on a high-backed obsidian throne, but that was not a detail meant to make him appear more imposing. His true weight was imposed not by where he sat, but by how he carried himself. Broad, though not hunched, shoulders were cloaked in a dark ceremonial mantle. Even the heaviness of the fabric seemed submissive beside him. His hair was cropped short, without any clear line between silver and black. Age showed not only in that, but in the deep furrows of his brow and the wrinkles around his eyes, each one seeming born not of thought, but of calculation. His eyes were dark and deep. They did not look at the envoy so much as at the possibilities behind her. His nose was long and slightly hooked, his lips thin. When he did not speak, his face was almost expressionless, yet beneath that blankness, a latent threat trembled. Leora continued.
"As you know, our republic has stood for many years and lives at peace with its neighbors. We hold no enmity toward any nation, nor do we wish harm on anyone. The purpose of my sending here is to warn these lands and to urge you to protect yourselves. If the threat I will describe shortly befalls your territories, the subjects of your empire will suffer irreparable pains. Zilium, the empire you call Zul or Zul in your Aeon tongue, is preparing for war against you. As you will appreciate, the clash of these two great powers for the safety of this realm would bring devastation. Neighboring city-states would be left in ruins. We have no hesitation in defending ourselves. The Republic is far stronger than you assume, and a civilization greater than your empire."
A harsh, angry voice cut off the envoy's words. King Grat of the North sat sprawled on his throne, his massive frame hidden beneath thick furs. His face was hard, his voice deep and hoarse. He narrowed his eyes, sizing the envoy up as if she were prey. Each word that came through his beard fell like a threat, cooling the air in the room by several degrees. Even when he did not speak, it felt as though his fist might strike the table at any moment.
"What is this envoy saying? Do you come to our council to insult our state, young woman?"
he asked. The king of the Central West and representative of the Western Kings, Sargon, was slouched in his seat, twisting a gleaming ring on his finger. His voice was loud but hollow. His yellowish beard was carefully combed, but his features suggested market-savvy cunning more than noble bearing.
"Are you threatening us? We'll crush your little republic,"
he bellowed, though the anger in his voice was more for show than conviction. His eyes kept flicking to the advisor beside him, shifting the burden of decision onto another's shoulders.
"No,"
Leora said.
"You have misunderstood me. I did not intend to offend you. I only spoke what we believe."
The council president and Regent Cassian interjected.
"Do you have proof for what you claim, envoy? Why would the distant Eastern Empire, with whom we have traded for many years without trouble, attempt to invade us? The combined strength of our armies is clear.
You do not know certain things.
the young woman said.
The Zul Empire, under the tyranny of Emperor Zulra, has gained tremendous momentum over the past decade. They have annexed the lands of Kamar and now seek to conquer the southern city-states. Ultimately, their eyes are set upon your southern kingdom. They want your minds.
Are you not merely a small city-state? How can you share information that even the vast spy networks of our empire have not uncovered?
Asked King Vunthar of the South.
The Republic possesses methods unknown to you. We can hear across great distances. And these abilities are not new. The so-called communication stones your kings once believed to be gifts of the gods are in fact creations of the Republic, our own inventions.
Whispers spread among the kings. King Vunthar sat upright within his robe inlaid with dark bronze armor. His face was stern, yet a strange trace of mercy lingered in his eyes. His broad forehead, closely trimmed beard, and measured gaze gave him the look not of a commander, but of a warrior well aware of his years. His voice was heavy yet precise. He spoke each word deliberately, with intention. When he turned to the envoy, his eyes did not narrow. His words carried the weight of both praise and warning. In the council, he was perhaps the least talkative of them all, yet when he spoke, silence followed.
Though I do not believe you, I will ask under the assumption that your statements are true. Why then did you give us those stones?
He asked.
In the past, the Republic listened to many tribes and kingdoms. Though this was done for our own protection, it was never with hostile intent. We listened to you through the stones. We know the thoughts that passed through your minds. And now we express this to you in full goodwill. Know that these stones are no longer used for listening. Our council deemed it unethical and has ceased all surveillance,
Leowara said. Murmurs and discontent filled the hall.
How dare you spy on us? That is an act of war.
No,
Leowara replied calmly.
those who live today did not commit that act. We would not ask you to burden us with the sins of our ancestors.
King Vunthar of the South spoke.
So, you listened to us, and now you admit it? Your courage is admirable. You are either very naive or very cunning. Then do you want the stones back?
No, that is not our intention. You may keep them. They are too old to be of any use to us now. Then to the heart of the matter,
Leowara continued.
we had not been listening to the lands of Zul until an extraordinary discovery was made. After that day, we were forced to listen again.
King Viar of the great Isle of Vesta, a slender man wrapped in a navy-embroidered sea robe, finally spoke. His face was pale, his eyes distant like those of a sailor staring at the horizon. His graying beard was sparse, his slicked-back hair looked as though the wind had undone it. His mouth opened and closed at times, as if on the verge of speaking. In the council, he usually chose silence. When he did speak, his voice neither commanded nor objected. It simply passed like a fading wave.
What was this discovery?
He asked.
They are communicating beyond the Mud Sea. Conversations are taking place in a strange tongue and encrypted. In recent years, they have secretly produced new instruments of war. Your empire cannot cope with these. We suspect there are cells within your realm working for Zul. We warn you.
How dare you threaten my exalted empire with baseless accusations?
Kasyan thundered.
Do you intend to estrange us from the Zul lands and provoke them? Is this part of a scheme to topple the two great empires?
No, Your Excellency. We have absolutely no such aim. We come to offer you the hand of friendship and propose cooperation. If tyrant Zulra gains dominance, they will enslave the world. Moreover, we cannot predict what would happen with the support of an unknown enemy.
The joint representative of the Western kings, King Sargon of the Central West, spoke.
Has this calamity recently afflicting our lands and the expansion of the Mud Sea anything to do with that? Tell us whatever you know.
We have no certainty. Yet the Senate of the Republic believes it likely. Things are occurring that run counter to the natural order of life. Temperatures are rising in an extraordinary manner, the climate is deteriorating, and the expansion of the Mud Sea is not due to natural causes.
What do you propose as cooperation? Since you possess such advanced devices, share them with us. Let us establish a permanent embassy in your country and a commission to consider joint war projects,
Cassian said.
Number. Our cooperation will be limited to restricted information sharing. We do not supply weapons to any civilization, nor do we admit foreign powers onto our soil.
At that moment the door burst open.
My lord, I did not wish to interrupt, but there is a threat against the palace. After the incident in the ballroom, the treasury was also breached, the stones were stolen, and as you know, threatening words were written beneath an unknown banner in the ballroom. We must place you under protection at once,
Val Maraxas said. Cassian wagged a finger.
If it turns out that you are behind this, envoy, you will answer to us. Until further notice, the envoy is to remain a guest in the palace chamber. You may leave. What you have said will be considered by our council, and we will inform you of our decision.
The young woman bowed her head in salute and was escorted from the hall to her chamber.
Lieutenant Val,
Cassian said,
lock the door from the outside and secure the hall. We have an important state matter to discuss. No one is to enter the room.
As you command,
Val Maraxas replied. 14. The Envoy's Fate. In the dim light, the kings convened a secret meeting in response to the unfolding events. Footsteps and whispers echoed beneath the high ceilings of the chamber, veiled behind heavy curtains. King Grat of the North spoke first, his voice trembling with barely contained fury.
The stones have been stolen. An envoy from a petty city that calls itself a state dares to speak to us with insolence. Most of all, where do they find the audacity?
He growled, slamming his fist against the armrest of his throne.
I say we detain the girl. Let a tribunal be held, and let her stand trial. We shall see how the Republic reacts to our move.
Then King Vanthar of the South spoke. His tone was calmer, but the cautious anxiety within it was unmistakable.
If her claims are true, we cannot know what else a civilization capable of creating communication stones might possess. Though these weaker republics pose no direct threat to our mighty empire, should they ally themselves with a potential enemy, it would concern us greatly. For this reason, we must weigh our decision carefully. I propose that the envoy not be imprisoned.
I request that a commission be established by the Imperial Regent to investigate the claims of espionage regarding the Zul lands, and that these allegations be examined in depth,
said VR. Regent Cassian nodded slowly.
Whether true or not, we cannot tell yet. But in any case, your reasoning holds merit. An investigation is necessary.
The Southern King spoke again, his voice tense with both the gravity of military responsibility and the weight of the looming threat.
Though I do not believe her, the woman plainly said, the first strike will come to the south. As you know, The center of the United Kingdom's armies lies in the south. Most of the legions are under my supervision and are trained by our finest military instructors.
Sargon interjected.
In our common understanding, the West's fertile lands feed the imperial populace. The North guards the borders against barbarians, the South raises their armies, and the center administers bureaucracy and the rule of law. But that order has been seriously crippled in recent years. Drought and the mud poison have driven people from the West. The threat has now reached the Central Kingdom. Difficulties have arisen in basic functions, such as raising armies, feeding and housing the people. Our bureaucracy and justice system are in tatters. Barbarians have begun to cross the northern borders. Our empire is collapsing. We must finally face the truth. Worst of all, our army has lost its combat edge. Decades of having no rivals and being surrounded only by weak city-states have made us forget how to fight organized armies.
He finished with a heavy sentence.
If this mysterious woman's claims are true, and Tyrant Zulura truly intends to strike our lands, if, as she claims, they possess superior war machinery, it will be a catastrophe for us all.
The council president and Regent Cassian spoke again, harsh and resolute.
I agree with Sargon and Grat. I also suspect the Republic is behind this game. They come cloaked in peace and threaten us. On the same day, our stones are stolen, the sacred ball is sabotaged, and a banner is shown in the heart of the palace. We cannot remain silent.
King Viar of the Isle then spoke.
If Zul is preparing an invasion, there will certainly be traces left behind. I will have the seaborne supply routes examined. Transporting an army from the Far East to threaten our empire requires serious military upkeep and food logistics. We do not yet know whether they are cooperating with the Republic, but everything began with this mysterious envoy's arrival.
A short silence followed. Then Cassian announced the decision.
If there is nothing further to add, let us vote on the matter of trying the envoy.
The council members nodded. The decision was reached by a vote of 4 in favor and 1 against, thus passed by majority. After further deliberation on who would conduct the trial and by what means, the kings rendered their verdict. At that moment, a royal guard knocked on the door. Lieutenant Val Maraxas entered and gave a crisp military salute.
Lieutenant,
said Cassian,
summon High Judge Call here. The council wishes to speak with him.
A short while later, a young man appeared before the kings. Call bowed to the council and stood silently at the center of the hall. His father, Cassian, spoke in a grave tone.
The council has unanimously decreed that the envoy be detained and investigated. You have been appointed as judge. Fulfill your duty and see that justice is done.
After a brief pause, he continued,
This case is not merely a matter of law. The decision you render may determine the fate of our empire.
As Call left the hall, thoughts swirled in his mind like a storm. He had secretly read the document meant for his father's eyes. A week before the Sacred Pact Ball, it stated that the Republic's envoy, Leora Valenoria, would cross into Imperial territory under concealed identity and attend the ball. Where had the classified intelligence report come from? One unknown even to the 11th, and not delivered through them. Who was providing this extensive flow of information beyond their awareness? By exposing the envoy as a suspect at the ball, he had clearly disrupted her plan. She was forced to be arrested. Perhaps she had been cooperating with the Republic while attempting to play a deeper game before the Council. Yet the envoy from the Republic hadn't seemed like she was pretending. But why had his father now appointed him as judge? Cassian had made his countermove. He knew Coll would rule fairly, perhaps even free the envoy, and either he trusted him to do so, or he was testing him. At the same time, he could tell the king's council, "See, we have upheld justice," shielding himself behind the veil of law. Yet what game was being played in the background, and by whom? No one but Cassian knew. Coll knew there was a game in motion, but he had not yet uncovered for whom or how it was being played. As he walked through the torchlit corridor, one thought echoed in his mind.
While they play their games, am I just another piece on their board?